I have a very good question to you, Roberto. If somebody wants to start in sales or wants to become better in sales, what can you recommend him?
Well, let's start from the beginning, like what a salesperson needs or why should he get into sales. I would say if you're a good listener, it's one of the most important thing because you have to listen good to your counterpart, to your opponent. Talk less, but really listen. And you need to be empathic. So that means also read the person a little bit to understand and adjust your communication.
Mhm.
Being challenging, it's a good point. There are people that are more challenging than others. I have that probably in my in my veins. It's I like to focus really on the core of the problem. It means to understand really what the problem is, what the challenge is, and understand how also which parameters are influencing this challenge you have in order really to understand it better and solve it. So I'm not the person that stays on the surface. I like to dive, and that's really important. And what is important also related to that is sometimes customers are not really aware of the problems. That means they understand, they see it, they feel it, but sometimes you need to support them, to help them to to see it really and understand it. Before we said you have to be a little bit of a psychiatrist. Again, when you're talking to somebody, he can tell you perhaps that he has a certain challenge, and in that case, he probably knows also why. But it happens to everybody of us. If we are looking for too long an image, from a certain point on, we don't see like differences to a similar image because we get a kind of blind. And bring sometimes a new perspective can help and can support your customer. That means that you have to be as, let's say, as open as possible to really sometimes just take the challenge and change the view. That can help a little bit, and that means also being challenging because you need some courage to sit down to a customer and just in a kind way explain it that perhaps there is another point of view where we can have a look at it, and perhaps there are solutions we never thought about. So that's also being for me a little bit challenging, and that's important. And well, the rest can be learned. It can be learned how to present yourself, how to pitch, how to have a cold call, how to react to certain reaction of customers. Like if somebody says, no, I don't want to talk to you, I'm not interested in your product, in your service. And so there are things that you can teach and on the other side can be learned, and others that probably you should have as a salesperson. Also like this instinct, these feelings, like to understand when you're sitting down on a table, what kind of person I have in front of me. How should I address myself? How should I address some arguments to that person in order to have somebody that's listening to me too?
Yeah. Doesn't help if you tell your client something and he doesn't listen.
Yeah, well, the worst thing that happened to me was like when I was having some sales meeting with some employees, with some salesperson, to watch just and seeing how they were performing, how they were doing the meeting. The worst thing was like when a salesperson talks, and he or she never looks to the customer and the customer wanted to say something, and you just continue, you keep talking. Like there was no empathy, there was no interest in what the customer wants to say, and actually you're there for the customer. You're not just there. I mean, you're not there to sell something. You are there to listen to it and see if there is, let's say, the need of selling what you pretend to sell.
Yeah.
And that's actually the most important thing. And sometimes people are nervous, sometimes they're not used to it, but perhaps it has also to do a little bit with our society. We are more and more used to talk and less to listen. And that's something that you feel and you see also in sales.
Do you think introverted people can become good salespeople?
Yes. Many people are not people, let's say. Usually you have this idea of salesperson that is extrovert. Well, it can help, but it can be also it can become a problem. Because as I said, if you like to talk too much when you're there with the customer, it can be a problem. Like I had two fantastic sales guys. One was very good in cold calls. The other one was better in the meetings, and they were both introverted. They just needed some coaching about how to perform better. But I wouldn't say that an introvert person is not as good as an extrovert. It's they can be as good as others. It shouldn't be something that should stop you to get into sales.
That's really good to know. Roberto, that's really fantastic. And I'm sure you help your salespeople a lot to motivate them, to bring them to best performers. And as you mentioned, listening is very, very important. This I also can tell our friends. Listen to the series with Roberto and you will learn a lot. It was really fantastic listening to your hints, to your tips, what you are doing, how you do it, how you can motivate the people. I'm sure that you are really a good motivator for your people.
Also, for a person that wants to get into sales, it can be very interesting from that point of view, because this learning curve should never end. If it goes to how you communicate, how to read people, to new markets, new trends, new products. You have to keep yourself always informed, because it's very important, also when you talk to customers, but even for yourself, so that you keep yourself always informed. That's basically the last thing I wanted to give to our audience.
You're absolutely right. So sales is the most challenging job in the world, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roberto. Thanks to have you here. It was really a pleasure. We also will note the contact details of you here below, that the people can contact you if they have any questions, and some people will contact you for how they can get motivated. Thanks, Roberto.
Thank you very much, Gerd.